thousands of British tribesmen, led by Boudicca, Queen of the Iceni, attempt to end the Roman occupation once and for all. Although the Romans are outnumbered, they are battle-hardened and skilled in modern warfare. Britain's future hangs in the balance. Occupying the command centre is a team of 4. 2 generals...
Get the cavalry into that group there.
Yeah, and 2 lieutenants.
That was a trick to make us go in and lose all our troops.
Here they will refight this landmark battle, using state-of-the-art technology against the greatest generals of the ancient world. This is Time Commanders. Joining Eddie Mayer inside the command centre are a team of National Trust colleagues from Lyme Park in Cheshire.
Now, you all work in a stately home, don't you? What is it you do, Gary?
I'm the head gardener. I've been there for 9 years.
Which home is this?
It's a property called Lyme Park, made very, very famous as Pemberley in Pride and Prejudice. So really, really nice place, set right on the edge of the Peak District, up between Stockport and Buxton.
Joe, you're a learning officer. Does that mean you're new, or...?
I'm learning to be an officer. I've been there since January, and it's just a new name for an education officer, so I just look after all the school groups that come through the park.
That must be fun.
Yes, came out of teaching, though, so it was just
to get away from the kids. What a shame. Paul?
Yes. I'm the shop manager at Lyme Park, so I run 2 shops, a traditional gift shop and a sort of outdoor children's shop.
I see you want to go on Big Brother as well.
Oh, love it, yeah. I'm too old, though, unfortunately.
How old are you claiming to be?
44.
I've got 52 down here.
Oh, yeah, thanks for that.
You know, you're on television now, so maybe, are you hoping that somebody might spot you? And...
Yep, here I am. Absolutely.
You know, it's BBC 2.
OK.
And Jill, tell us about your job.
I'm Visitor Services Assistant at Lyme Park.
Which is a grand title for what?
I make people happy. I make sure, I hope I do, I make sure everybody that comes into the park has a lovely day.
Now, you have a history degree, am I right?
History of art degree.
Oh, no help. All right, now, who's going to be in charge when the battle begins? Who's going to be general? Who's going to be lieutenant? 2 of each?
I'll be general.
Because?
I'm talkative, and I do tend to take over.
Joe?
I think if I could choose, I would be a general. I think if, say, we put Paul as a general up here with Gary, they could end up arguing.
Well, Paul has to be able to take orders, then.
I'm quite happy with that, because power behind the throne thing going off there, so, yeah, maybe.
And Jill, by default,
but
you're
no,
a lieutenant.
If you wanted to be a general, you could.
No, I'm quite happy with being a lieutenant, really, because then I don't take the blame for things, do I?
In the unlikely event it all goes horribly wrong.
Exactly.
OK.
Let me first of all introduce you to 2 people who know all about what you're going to do today. There are historians up there in the gantry. Have a look. That's Eric and Mike.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
And they're going to be watching everything you do.
Dr. Eric Nussbacher, Senior Lecturer in War Studies, Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. Mike Loads, Combat and Weapons Historian.
Now, the first thing you need to do is grab hold of those clipboards and take notes, because this is critical. Before the battle starts, you're going to get some time to gather information about all aspects of where the battle will take place, your own forces, the enemy forces, a bit of the history to it. Important clues will be coming up in the next few minutes, all right? OK. The battle you're going to fight involves the Romans against the Iceni tribe. You're going to be in charge of the Romans taking on Boudicca, often known as Boudicca, or Boo, to her closest friends. It's the Battle of Watling Street. It's nasty. Take a look at this.
The year is 60 AD. The place is Watling Street in the Midlands of England. On one side, the forces of the Roman Empire under the governor of Britain, Suetonius Paulinus. Opposing him, Boudicca, queen of the Iceni, commanding a huge coalition of tribesmen. The Roman legion, equipped with expert soldiers, well-trained and heavily armed, was the most advanced and lethal fighting machine in the world, with years of battle experience. In 43 AD, the Romans had arrived in Britain, carving their way through native Celtic tribes. But 17 years of occupation had taken their toll, and the foothold the Romans had gained could yet be lost. The Iceni, from modern-day East Anglia, had initially sought alliance with the Roman invaders to protect themselves from hostile neighbors. But when their king, Prasutagus, died, Rome seized Iceni land and disarmed the tribe by force. His widow was Queen Boudicca, now leader of the Iceni. When Boudicca protested at her people's treatment, the Romans had her flogged and her daughters raped. Seeking personal and political revenge, Boudicca raised a coalition of more than 60,000 Iceni and allied warriors, determined to drive out the occupying force. Boudicca struck first at symbols of the Roman occupation, burning the cities of Colchester, London, and St. Albans. In battle, the Iceni tried to terrify the Romans with a single massive charge. In addition, the fast and nimble Celtic chariot was used for skirmishing and harassing the legions. But their tendency to fight as individuals rather than as a group put the Celts at a major disadvantage when faced with the disciplined Roman lines. The empire ordered the governor of Britain, Suetonius Paulinus, to crush the Iceni rebellion. Already busy campaigning in Anglesey, now he raced to meet Boudicca in central England. Suetonius and 10,000 soldiers assembled to the side of Watling Street, the Roman road which stretches from London to North Wales. Boudicca arrives with more than 60,000 warriors. Stirred up with hatred of the Romans, the Iceni would rather die than lose the battle. If Boudicca prevails, she could destroy more than half the British Roman army, avenge her honor, and come one step closer to ending Roman occupation. If Suetonius wins, he will crush all opposition and secure the western frontier of the Roman Empire. If he loses, he faces torture and certain death. The stakes are high, battle is imminent.
Was that useful?
Yeah, very.
Yeah. What did you learn?
We have 10,000 Roman troops, battle-hardened.
And the Iceni are very angry, aren't they? They're extremely cross.
Yeah.
Miffed.
They've got no strategies, have they?
No, they seem to just want to go in.
It said they want to do single combat as well, whereas we could have more of a battle plan.
They do use the chariots as well.
They've got an awful lot at their
they-
disposal, but we have to
I think
go
we
for
need
the
to
mind
use
side.
sophistication, really,
Yeah.
over the blood and guts
We have to break,
attitude
we
of
have to break the
Iceni.
numbers up.
What we really have here is an extraordinary clash of military cultures. They couldn't be more extremely different, the way the Romans fight and the way that the ancient Britons fight. This is a battle we really know very little about. We just have Tacitus and Dio Cassius, Romans, giving us accounts of it. But even they tell us very sketchy details.
You've seen some of the history, the build-up to this big grudge fight that's going to happen, for which you're vastly outnumbered. Let's have a look at where we think the battle took place. Okay, now there's the battlefield for the Battle of Watling Street.
The team now have 15 minutes to gather as much information as they can about both armies and come up with a strategy to defeat Boudicca.
Do you know Watling Street?
No.
It's all office blocks now, but back then, this was the terrain. Tell me what you can see. What do you learn from looking at this?
Gathered us at the main Roman road then. Is that Watling Street itself running through the centre? Must be then. Must be Watling Street.
The immediate area around the road is wide and flat, with a ridged valley to one side.
But that looks like the valley running around
Yes,
here.
this is
This is the lowest point, isn't it?
The head of the valley offers a commanding view across the terrain, which is enclosed by light forest on 3 sides. The high ground offers a distinct battle advantage.
So you've got several different ways where the armies could come in, but only maybe 1 or 2 main areas where they could actually fight.
Now, what do you think of the deforestation here, being the gardener?
I think if they want to have one large battle, they will want to see where we're coming in, and then they will get their troops hit hard, but they will hold something back.
I don't think they're that sophisticated.
Do you think so?
No, they're just...
It's easy to think of the Britons as being mere barbarians, as people with paint on their faces and no idea of discipline. These were quite sophisticated cultures, very used to war.
Absolutely.
But we're in heavy armour, which means we need to fight mainly more on the flats.
Gary's first suggestion is to abandon the advantage of the high ground. It's a daring move, and Joe is not convinced.
If they're all just manic and they're just going to do their own thing and they're all individual fighters, they could all be coming from all different directions,
just
out
gonna
the
go,
trees,
yeah.
they'd just be
They
everywhere.
can be hiding
They're
here.
just going to go for manpower. We need
They
sophistication
don't
of
want
strategy.
them coming all around us, do we? We want to keep
Sophistication
it
of
back.
strategy. That's what we're going to need from you guys. And really, before you can do anything else, you're going to have to find out where your troops are.
You can see that valley. It's like a cup, a wooded cup. And at the bottom of the cup, on the high ground, the Romans can be protected from the superior numbers of the Iceni.
The numbers are against them, but the Roman army have the advantage of the high ground. Will their generals use it well?
Are we in that dip now there then?
Yeah.
In the mid.
And it looks like they're over the other...
And they're over in the...
Yeah, so
in
there's Watling Street in the distance at the mid-ground.
Yeah, so we're actually on the other side, the skinnier side.
This is the other.
The team, in control of the Roman army, can now take a 360-degree tour of the battlefield.
Now, why not use the information you've got on the screen to plot where your troops are on the map?
But Joe's grasp of geography seems a little shaky. It's not a great start.
Sorry, Joe, where do you think you are?
We're on this side.
Okay, Joe thinks you're on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
This is a bad start.
Spies in.
Use your blocks to correlate with the position on the screen.
Right.
And in a few moments, as soon as they've got the hang of it, your lieutenants will shout
better
up.
zooming in to see actually what they are.
The Roman sources tell us that there were about 10,000 in the Roman army. And they had 1 legion entire, parts of another legion, and they had the Batavians along with them. They had archers and light forces, but it really was a force rushed across country. It was not a complete Roman force, but the Romans' doctrine for dealing with civil insurrection was...
Hit it hard, hit it immediately.
That's it.
Right. We've got our cavalry.
Cavalry are back here.
What information are you getting, lieutenants? You've got to tell your generals.
Oh.
So lights are faster, but the heavy artillery are the ones who form the tortoise.
Are those the ones that can do the tiltus?
Yes.
The lieutenants have spotted a key Roman skill. But will that information get back to their generals?
What are you getting from your lieutenants now? What are they telling you?
Nothing
at all. It's
nothing
not a
at
thing,
present, I think, but they're getting the detailing. So if we can
I
get
think
this
once we've
down.
got our bit plotted, we can then get together, can't we?
Yeah, they're
Can't see
ground.
what they're holding. Ah,
They're
they are.
archers,
Yes, they are.
yeah. So we need the archers at the front.
Are you sure we didn't have any of those on the other side?
No, we didn't.
Okay, I'll go with
Sure.
In fact, Gary's wrong. The team have another whole unit of archers at the top of the hill.
Can we lift up then, go into the group behind? We have the cavalry right at the back.
And these are not Roman legionary cavalry.
They're auxiliaries.
These are auxiliaries. They are competent when you cut them out on their own. They're Germans, German cavalry working for the Romans.
The Roman auxiliary had these horn saddles, and they're really quite nifty. You can really sit into them. You can really lean out and reach down at cavalry. I mean, they're and you can sit in and give really strong impact charges with them.
So they're quite strong against infantry.
Oh, very much so.
So we've got some more archers just behind the horsemen. So
Lieutenants, is your work done? Are you going to tell us anything? No. Tell your generals what you found out.
We've got the light archers at the front, and everyone's pretty ready and eager to have a go at doing things.
Okay.
Have we got more archers? Are
We've
there
got
archers at the
There's
back as
other
well?
archers
Right,
as well.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll just keep them.
Yeah, so we've got archers, legionary cohorts. They got daggers and shields.
Yeah, they're the ones right at the front.
Yeah.
The legionary cohorts, we have 2 blocks.
Okay.
And the heavy infantry, we have 2 blocks. And then we have 9 units of generals.
9 units of
generals at the front.
generals at the front. All right, general fighters, all right.
No, generals.
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 Do you know specifically enough to tell us what sort of numbers we're talking about in all of these?
It's probably more important you have an idea of what they can do and what kind of weaponry they have,
Right.
and make sure this map represents accurately what's on there, because when the battle starts, you're going to need to know exactly where everyone is. Would you like to know a little more about some of this?
tell us
we
what
need to know more, don't we, on each of the weapons?
Well, I
They
can give you
actually
some
have.
information about some of them. Have a look first at the Roman legionaries. Have a look at this. What does that tell you?
Roman legionaries, well-trained and experienced, vulnerable on the flanks, armed with javelin and sword, testudo formation defends against missile attack.
They can do the tortoise
thing.
Yeah.
They're older. The
But
veterans.
do you think that's going to be
What's
a
this
major
good
thing?
thing?
Because the Boudicca's lot, they like one-on-one fighting, just sort of all running in and going for
But
it.
is it
a
We could
problem
use
they're
that
older
to
for?
move in.
Yeah, you could get in the middle and then spread out. You could kind of do an explosion.
Yeah, I think if you actually send them in groups in this testudo, that will protect their flanks, as long as we have some archers close by.
They're getting very hung up on this idea of being able to use the testudo. Because I think it's because it's something they've heard of. But in effect, the testudo was essentially something to be used in siege warfare.
That's right. If you needed to approach close to a wall,
Exactly.
you'd form up in a
Then you
testudo.
need a shield wall with a roof.
That's right.
But it's not going to be hugely useful in a battle.
They will not need a testudo out there today.
Could archers travel in the middle of them?
I don't see why not. They could be protected by them.
That's the legionaries. Have a look now at the auxiliary cavalry. Battle season, that'll be a help.
They're old.
There's nothing wrong with being old, Paul. You lied about your age.
Auxiliary heavy cavalry, disciplined but few in number, armed with spear and sword, best used aggressively.
They wouldn't be bad, actually, because if you think about it, the people who are going to be attacking, they do it one-on-one. So they're on a horse. They've got an advantage of height.
But it actually says
Horses
that,
can still be vulnerable to
it
that,
actually
can't
says
they?
that they're poor against infantry.
Oh, I couldn't
So
see that.
They've quite accurately just picked up the fact that the horses are vulnerable. The thing about cavalry is the horse is not armoured, and they're making a fair fist at analysing what the capabilities of the individual
Now, the
troops.
question is, what will they do with it?
Yeah, 'cause if you look
So
at
you
the
know all
total
about your own
numbers,
troops
there's not
now?
many of them.
Well, that's 2 lots.
We've got the archers.
There's
Well, those
still
are the key
archers.
troops. I'm not going to lead you by the hand
Okay.
through all of them. I've
All
given you
right.
lots of information. You know where they are. Do you think this map represents where your forces are?
You've been close down there. Are you happy with that? Do you think this is
Where are the
as you
generals on here?
understood it?
Don't listen to Jo. She thought you were on the other side of the road.
To be honest, I thought we were on the other side of the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Half the team have got you in the wrong place. What about the boys?
No,
Ciao.
yeah.
Quite happy with
Excellent.
that.
Okay. We know where you are. What about where the enemy is? Would you like a little closer look?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
Okay. Paul, go down to our technician on the right. Well, as soon as you find something out, shout up to the generals.
Okay, we're sending scouts out.
Now, as soon as you get any information about the enemy, you should be plotting them on the map using the enemy blocks.
They're right in the middle.
Right in the middle of the trees. The clearing in the
It
trees.
is that side.
The team must use their time well. They only have one chance to find out exactly what they're facing. But will they spot Boudicca's secret weapon, her nimble cavalry and chariots?
Now, why don't you set out the enemy troops here?
Yeah.
They're in 2 main units, one to one side of the trees, one behind the trees.
Are you listening? Your lieutenant's telling you important information.
What's that, Paul?
Look at the scar.
They're in 2 main units, one to the left of trees, one right behind the trees.
We need to get some of these down, yeah. They're right now.
The team are struggling to grasp just how many Iceni they face.
Right across the back. We need
This
to
map
leave-
should represent what you see on the screen.
Yeah.
Boudicca's forces comprise chariots, berserkers, axemen, warriors, and substantial cavalry. They are all fierce and effective. But have the generals even noticed?
I'm getting a sense you're disorganised. Is that how it feels?
No, what we actually need is, can you go straight forward up the middle, towards that first long line, drop down towards them.
We're looking at the other side we've moved from now.
Yeah, we're just trying to get these plotted on the overmap.
And I'm trying to give you the number of people that are here.
I need to get all the groups on before we worry about how many there are in the groups.
Do we need to be so accurate? I mean, we know that they're all spread out and all a bit crazy.
Yeah, but we actually haven't got anything down at all yet, so we actually need to get some of them actually down on the map.
Where are the chariots?
When we look at the Iceni, we've depicted them here as big fellows. They're stripped to the waist. The Roman writers said they were naked, and we're interpreting that as not bollock naked, but stripped to the waist.
And then they're using woad, this blue dye. Everybody's heard of them using woad. If you cut yourself and you get a bit of woad leaf, it actually will seal the cut.
So they're not just painting themselves blue out of some sort of vanity or it's not just war paint.
Not at all.
This is the magical war paint.
The magical war paint, absolutely.
It's war, you know, they don't wave the starting pistol.
Yes, all of these.
That line is archers. I'm not entirely sure
line
where
is archers.
I think they're here.
So you get
This is the long, skinny line, isn't it?
front line.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Front.
archers.
While the rest of the team assess the strengths of their enemy, Paul turns his attention to one solitary figure.
We found Boudicca.
Where is she?
She's right at the front of the left army. She's towards the
So
back.
we have some
Oh,
cavalry
there's some
here.
horses.
Right.
Some horses.
And at last, the team discover Boudicca's dangerous cavalry and chariots.
The thing about cavalry and chariots, they're quickly mobilised.
That's right. So the Iceni could position them anywhere they want on the field and rapidly move them somewhere else.
Oh, chariots.
There's chariots.
Here we go.
Yes, can you just pan over a little bit more to the
That's
left?
the
We have
chariot.
one chariot.
Gary, Joe says you're talking too much.
And another
I
chariot.
do talk too much. I'm from Liverpool.
And you're doing it now. That's the end of the information gathering phase,
There's a whole pod in the middle. We haven't
such
got
as
that
it is.
Well, it's all.
Whilst their survey of the enemy may not have been wholly comprehensive, the team are aware of one thing. They are seriously outnumbered. And now they have to devise a battle plan.
That seemed quite confused.
I'm not happy with that. I don't think that represents what the other group looks like at all.
No,
There's nothing
Whose fault
like
is
it.
that?
Yeah, but we were spending too much time just.
We weren't talking. You were talking.
No, it wasn't the talking. It was actually bobbing around the field, just looking at things instead of trying to do it systematically and actually plotting it down.
You see, when you panned away from it, we had a big central pod of them with bits coming off the side. This
but remember,
isn't a
I don't
central
control
pod with
what that
things.
screen's on.
Yeah, I'm
This
not
is
telling
for
you.
you.
I'm not.
Oh, you
I'm
see,
gonna go,
blame
saying,
starts.
It's the general.
But we haven't
takes
got that
responsibility.
central pod with
There are
things
an awful lot of Britons against very few Romans.
They really are. I mean, it's huge numbers.
Oh, he says it's nearly all swordsmen.
I think we can take the swords to be emblematic of handheld weapons.
That's right. You're just as dead with a pitchfork in your face as with a sword in your face.
The enemy are very heavy on swordsmen, not too heavy on chariots, which should give us an idea of the tactics.
Chariots were worrying us, weren't they? But if there's
Chariots don't need to worry, I don't think, at this moment. I think we need to concentrate on how we're going to get rid of this front line.
By dismissing their enemy's chariots, have the team committed their most fatal miscalculation?
Chariots were... I mean, Caesar, when he came over 100 years earlier, tells us that the first thing the ancient Britons do on the battlefield is they drive all over the field, throwing their javelins. And what they're trying to do, of course, is provoke the enemy to come on. And, of course, that's going to be the great temptation for our team. Do they think they will come forward? Because if they do, they could well be in trouble. They've got to have that Roman discipline to hold their lines.
No more time, that's it. What's the battle plan?
If we sort of go right in there, we're going to end up surrounded by them. If we stay here and almost keep a sort of almost front line,
Yeah, let them
you
come
can
to
just
us.
let them come. I mean, not stand still, but you know, if we keep that barrier, they're just going to keep coming. They want to fight. They like doing their individual stuff.
But so you want them to bring the fight to you?
I don't want us to stand still, but because I still think we need
Shuffle?
to make some tap dancers. Paul, your department.
Joe is possibly a military genius. She has what in French is called coup d'oeil, what in German is called Fingerspitzengefühl. the sensitive fingertips that is the necessary qualification of a German general. She looks at this map and instantly understands what's going on. She grasps this map.
But I still think we need to break our attack into several different sections to spread their force over several different fights as well.
So despite Joe's intuitive reading of the terrain, Gary's second incisive proposal is to split his outnumbered Roman troops into small units across an open plain. But not everyone agrees.
Paul, you look confused.
Not confused, no. I think what we need to do is put the archers behind the first lot of infantry.
I would agree that would be the best thing.
We need the archers behind the first...
They
don't need to go first, they need to be behind, firing. No, then we need to send the infantry in.
How are they going to fire, though? They're not...
With bows and arrows.
No, but how are they going to not hit ours?
Well they're not going to go like that, are they? They're going to go like that.
Do that again?
Like that.
Like that.
And
they're going to go like that.
They go up, can't you? And they all go... They kind of all shoot up into the air and they all land on this lot that are moving in.
Well, that's what we want. We want them to land on that lot moving in. Why do we need...
Oi.
Oi, what's this oi?
They're getting hung up on tiny details, and my prediction is they're going to end up fighting the micro battles, and command structure between the lieutenants and the generals is going to break down.
You can see that Jill feels she's got a lot to say, and Paul feels he's got a lot to say.
I think they've got more strategy than we're letting on. Because I said they were just in there blood and guts and fight it. I don't think so. I think maybe it's strategy now.
Is that on the basis of...
You just want to use sticks.
Osmosis?
Absolutely, yeah.
What am I thinking now?
Well, you're thinking we're complete idiots.
I'm not. But I'm thinking...
They need to look at this picture. We're outnumbered 6 to 1. We have got to herd together, hunker down, and that's our only hope.
That's right, defend.
Tell me what you're going to do.
I don't know.
Oh, no, they don't know.
Right, scared. I'm scared.
Right. If we group it from all what we've said so far, then...
Show me.
OK.
I don't give the stick to him.
It's too late. It's in my hand.
The time for talking is over. Show me what you'll do.
They will all just come straight down and attack us down here.
Yeah, because they do the single charge.
So if we actually send some of the light cavalry, keeping one troop here, light cavalry there, bring the archers down to the front here first to do a certain amount of damage, then quickly bring them back, bring our own troops in using the turtle thing.
Wait.
Jill?
What did we say about the turtles and the archers being in the middle?
Tortoise.
Turtle. Yeah.
If they actually go into Testudo, it's going to be really, really stupid.
I think we're just going to get wiped out. We're putting the archers in the wrong place.
Yeah, the archers
archers should go, Paul.
Right behind the first lot, right behind in 2 straight lines.
Give Paul the stick.
Oh, all right, if you really must.
OK. The archers need to go there and there with the advantage.
Can we keep a line of these in, right?
With the advantage of height.
I have a stick as well.
With the advantage of height. And then we put these right there.
Forgetting what are all this little lot here doing?
And I haven't finished
I
yet.
actually need the stick. The stick's hindering me.
I'll have 200 on black.
Right. Are you expecting the archers to carry on walking with the infantry to go in?
No, they stay back.
But they only have short bows.
Look, we've got
But you haven't listened to it. You haven't even let me finish.
Go on then.
We don't have all day, Paul.
You start. You start here. What happens? They run forward. The archers run like they do in Ben-Hur, and then they fire again. And I don't know what it's called. That
Look, we've got
strategy.
trees
What
here.
I'm
We're
actually
not
trying
going
to
to use the
say.
trees.
Just because you're wearing combat trousers doesn't make you a soldier.
Sorry, say it again, Joe.
No, but what I'm saying makes sense if you let me talk it out.
Do you not have people at the sides who are almost...
I think it was interesting that Paul was looking up here at us.
Because they're having difficulty with their own personal hierarchy of sorting out the appropriate command structure for this. What they're doing is they're looking for approval, saying, is one of us talking sense?
The archers fire over the infantry.
Yeah.
The archers then run forward, they go down again. They keep doing this until they get over to the road. This is what happened. Are you with me, Jules?
Yeah,
You know what
I'm
I'm
with
talking
you.
about?
But that's
I'm happy.
extremely tiring for the archers.
No, but that's what they did.
To keep running
but
ahead.
that's what they did, so it must have worked.
Well, look, you've heard the advice of your lieutenants,
Yeah.
and they're not thrilled with the plan, as I understand it. But the generals, you have to carry it out.
The team's time ran out long ago, but their debate is still going round in circles, and the stakes are high. Can they save Roman Britain and defeat the Iceni rebellion?
We only have 10,000. They have 60,000. If we all just stay together, they will just surround us.
That's why we go as a block with the archers behind.
OK, well, this is a clear separation. The lieutenants want to stay as a block. The generals want to split up.
Yeah.
Joe, what are you going to do?
We're going to have our front line here of infantry. They're going to be protected by the archers, even though these are all going to hit us. But we should be quite strong. These, I think the consensus is we want them as mop-ups, because we don't want them to be, they're not too strong against these. We still need to keep quite a broad line, I think.
Are we still using
because we
that one at the
don't
end,
want
Joe?
to end up getting completely surrounded.
All right, OK.
Joe, are we
That's the
picking
battle
that?
plan. Now, prepare to go into battle. Use this map and listen carefully to everything your lieutenants are telling you. Are you clear what you have to do?
Yeah.
I'm not. These aren't all in the right place
Joe,
yet.
stop moaning. It's time to deploy your troops.
After much debate, the generals have decided to confront their enemy head-on. Leading their vastly outnumbered forces downhill, a front line of legionary troops will support 2 units of archers.
Paul, we're going to have to do a bit of mingling as well.
You've got the archers, I've got the infantry, so I need to set the infantry up. You put the archers behind my infantry.
OK, well, you get your infantry set up.
The generals have settled on holding their key troops, the auxiliary cavalry, in deep reserve.
We could actually
Shut up
take a
talking,
look.
Gary. We have a look,
We should
shall
go
we?
and take a look, shall we?
But which battle will command the generals' full attention? The one on the field, or the one amongst themselves?
But they're starting to move now, Joe, down the
Nothing
centre.
there, though. There's
Joe, we've got
nothing.
cavalry moving down the centre now.
The British troops have suddenly begun their advance. 60,000 furious Britons, under the leadership of Queen Boudicca, descend on an outnumbered force, determined to repel the Roman occupation. It's time for the Romans to get their act together.
We need to give some
With all these
information then.
trees behind
We need
us.
to let
You could move your troops.
Yeah.
Tell them what to
Gillian,
do. They won't do anything unless you
Paul,
tell them.
Looking at it, do you want to just
moving.
move our army forward a bit? If they
Which
do
bit of your
something?
army do you want to move?
Or move all of it slightly forward.
OK.
Paul, are you listening to them?
Yes, sorry.
We need to move our army forward, but just slightly.
OK.
At last, the Romans begin to deploy.
I thought you liked the protection of the hills behind you.
Well, we're not moving far. We still have to have the topography behind us. But until we actually see what the enemy is starting to do, then we need to modify it as we go along. How far are you moving the archers forward?
They're just
first,
taking ages.
Before
Can they
have
run?
their
Can they not
first-
run?
They are
they run?
running.
Joe's original plan was to wait on the high ground. Now that the Celts are on the move, she seems determined to launch a frontal assault.
Right, see that? Look, oh, they're at the road
Right, need
now.
to turn
We're
out.
still way back there. Can they run?
Then mine can
stopping
catch
them.
up, because then I can actually see what you've done, Paul, because I can't
I put
actually
2
understand
lines
what
of
you've done.
infantry right at the front, so
Yeah,
your
but you
archers
look like
need
you
to-
put them there and there. I thought we were
have that
putting
in
them
a
there and
straight
there.
line.
Look how spread out.
The Romans are just,
They are really spread out. They are sitting ducks.
they're moving away from the protection of that fold in the ground.
And although the ancient Brits have brought their infantry up, there's still quite a long way. There's still, that's quite a bit of marching time, but it's not that long a time to send some cavalry and chariots in. They could get in there amongst them really any minute now.
What's
That's
going on
actually
here?
still just
Who's
behind
me
them.
and which
They're
one's...
still keeping just behind the road at the moment, Joe. You have
And
to
they're
see that
not-
they're
yeah,
actually
they're not moving.
the infantry is actually
Generals,
Why?
do you want your troops to move?
Why do you think? Why are they not coming?
because they're waiting to see what we're going to do.
The team are thrown by Boudicca's decision to stand and wait. Confused orders filter down to the ranks for a pointless and tiring change in formation.
Okay, right, the infantry are just about in place in one
Yeah,
long line.
and my archers are just coming up behind
Can
now.
we have your archers spread out?
So look
Yeah,
at the
spread
distance.
the archers out so there's a very thin line
Jill,
of them. Yes.
and that's the they've travelled all this distance. They've stopped at the road now. They seem to not be wanting to go any further. We've still got this massive gap.
They don't want to meet us on the plane, do they? They're trying to draw. Well, they want to meet us. They're trying to draw us out so they can just power straight through.
What's behind?
Well, they're saving energy, aren't they?
If the Britons provoke the Romans into coming down the hill, down the valley, away from that position of advantage, we're going to see a battle between Joe, who wants to remain concentrated, and Gary, who wants to disperse.
To go down, absolutely.
That's right. And Gary is the assertive one, and Joe is the one who really understands what's going on.
Well, to a point, I think.
This isn't looking too
Joe,
much like what's on the
not
Joe
doors.
and Gary,
I'm
I'm
asking
still
you-
not clear. Are you happy with where your forces are?
Well, we're moving our forces forward.
These ones.
How far
now.
forward are you going to move them? Because you wanted to stay in basically the same position, didn't you?
Yeah. Are we going
But
to?
they've stopped, haven't they?
So does that mean you have to move?
How many groups of after the archers do we need? Is it 4 groups?
Are we putting them into those sumo shapes to deal with? Well, the plan was we still had to wait and see what their army was going to do, and so we have to modify as you go along.
The team is trying to create a front line.
But there's no depth here.
No depth.
Cavalry can crash through that.
And those are narrow lines of archers.
Absolutely.
And
They're-
those
they're
archers
very
haven't got anything to protect them from cavalry.
Cavalry and chariots can get round there, get behind those archers, and bear in mind that the cavalry and the chariots are both using missile weapons. They don't even have to come in contact. They just need to get within 20 yards, and they really can
chucking
just
those missiles
chuck
in
it
there.
in.
We've done it.
We just we need to
And
move
then
ours
we need the
forward
rest
then.
of the
We need
stuff.
the rest,
other
the rest on the
behind.
board.
Your
so
other
we can put them on.
infantry are
Behind
behind.
it.
Have you got infantry behind your archers?
Quite
Is that what we
simple.
need? Right.
So Joe, are we actually? Joe,
The enemy is closing
We
in.
need
We've
some
done nothing yet.
infantry.
Joe, are we
They're
actually?
coming in. They're coming in now.
Having tempted the Romans off the high ground, Boudicca orders her troops to advance across Watling Street.
How many groups behind the infantry? We're going to have to take it. Jill, we'll just do it what we think.
Yeah.
Can we have
How many
We
groups
need
have we
the.
split those up, one on each side?
They're arguing. The
And-
generals
and-
cannot impose their will on the battlefield because
and
they're
talking at
fighting.
once.
They're all talking at once. And the two generals aren't really talking to each other either. We're not seeing a functioning command structure.
Bring these groups here back up to support them at the back, as we said before.
Okay, so
Don't you want to see
that's
the
what
enemy?
we're doing. Look.
Well,
Who's this? The chariots. These are chariots coming now. Where's the
we need
cavalry?
the
Can we send the
archers.
cavalry in to try and sort out the chariots and get people off the chariots?
Doing it towards
They're going
the,
to.
Did you find out where?
Oh, look at those chariots coming.
Here they come.
I'm not sure they can
Wonderful.
see it down
This is
there.
what we want. Here come the chariots.
With Boudicca's chariots fast approaching, the first engagement of the battle is about to begin. Can the team's ground troops respond in time?
The archers are firing at them. Are they getting anything?
We need to fire at will, Jill.
Yeah, the chariots are coming round the back.
The chariots are breaking the formations.
Look at this lot. Where's
The
all their
team is
formation?
falling for it. The team is
really
doing
are.
just what the
That's
Britons
right.
want them
And what
to
they'll
do.
do is they'll start fighting this fire.
That's right. They're going to focus on that. They'll take their minds off the rest of the battlefield.
We're shooting our own men now.
Your arrows are hitting us.
I know.
You're killing our troops.
I know. I'm telling them off.
Why?
Yes,
You
stop them,
can't
because
tell
they
them
keep
off.
hitting each other.
And now look at the chariots. They've done their job, and the chariots are speeding away.
Speeding away. Absolutely. Hit and run.
Can you
Right, the
actually
rest,
find
they're charging now.
where the archers
Apparently,
are?
Gary,
now.
that was a trick to make us go in and lose all our troops.
Coming forward, which is why we needed the archers.
Now we're running away, and running away is not necessarily good.
Right,
for
Right, stop them. Is that mine or yours?
Is that us? Can we stop those?
Look at that line. Oh my goodness. These people are strung out.
So vulnerable. Got to have depth. There've got to be 4 or 5 at least.
The problem is that we heard somebody before talking about Ben-Hur, and they've got cultural preconceptions about war. They think there needs to be a front line. They think it needs to be long, and this is true if you've got muskets. But they don't have muskets. What a Roman army needs is depth.
After an initial chariot ambush which shattered the Roman front line, Boudicca's infantry are now approaching in great strength. How will the Romans respond?
Should we do the tortoise thing?
If in doubt, do the tortoise.
We actually need, before their foot soldiers hit us, we actually need to get ours into those solid sumo groups to give ourselves some protection.
So your plan now is what?
Get our own ground troops into their turtle formation to break right through.
But the testudo, intended to deflect missile attack, is the least appropriate and most time-consuming maneuver to attempt on an open field.
Oh my God, they've formed a testudo.
Oh, yeah, fatal.
Can the Roman archers come to the rescue? The Romans are committing most of their infantry troops, but can they avoid becoming completely surrounded? The future of Roman Britain rests in the team's hands.
Paul?
Okay.
Are we?
Gillian?
Yes.
We actually need to make sure all our ground troops are in the same formation, that some of them are, some of them are not. So they're being picked off because they're not in a solid formation.
The archers are still firing, are they?
We're killing our own people at the moment.
Sorry, say again, Paul.
We're killing our own soldiers at the moment.
With what?
With
The
everything. Arrows.
They're too close. Pull
The
out.
archers are too close.
Why don't
Pull
we
out
put
the
the
archers.
archers up at the hills and then they can fire down?
Stop the
just-
archers firing. Just stop
Just pull the
them firing.
archers back.
firing.
Paul, Gillian,
all
pull the
right.
archers
I
back.
haven't got the archers. Jill's got the
Jill,
archers.
pull the archers back, send the cavalry in.
But Gary's instructions drift into thin air, and the team's key troops, the auxiliary cavalry, are left to graze the field. Boudicca's horsemen, however, are more proactive. They've spotted an opportunity to outflank the Roman army. In one move, they bypass some stranded light infantry and target a group of lone archers behind Roman lines. It's a dirty battle, but Boudicca's forces have completely outflanked the Romans, wiping out their precious reserves. The team's Roman army is in serious trouble.
Gary, look, they're just surrounding us. This is exactly what we said we didn't want them to do.
But we actually need all of those groups, which is what we said, but the lieutenants haven't followed that through. We actually said we wanted all those groups and those battle formations to take on, and it's only has to be done with the first two. The rest are still sitting there.
Chaos is beginning to take hold. But with their surviving troops now committed all across the battlefield, the Romans are running out of options.
No, it's looking good. It's looking okay on one
I
side.
think they're going to try and come round the back of us, though. They're going up into the
They're coming
woodland.
up behind Jill.
Yes.
Can we get this cavalry? Because this
Yeah,
cavalry
I'm just sorting out the cavalry.
Yeah.
You're also a
I just
general.
So
figured
they're going
now.
up the hill.
You can give orders.
Yeah, we actually need them because we're losing quite
get a
badly.
word in.
Okay, on the left-hand side, it's the right-hand side.
Right, we need to move.
Roman troops are surrounded in pockets across an open field, and the battle is going Boudicca's way.
More of their numbers
But the
now.
Romans have one unit still unengaged. Their key troops, the auxiliary cavalry, could now make a difference.
Not to use the horses, send them in.
We're doing that now. It's the cavalry's on its way down there.
The team finally send in the cavalry to reinforce their beleaguered cohorts.
Right, we need to fill the gap on the right side here with the cavalry.
Yep.
That gap there.
And stop this group here from carrying on coming round.
What blocks that right in the centre, Paul? The one that's on the move.
that big group coming in there at the back. Can we pan into that on the left-hand side there? That group
Oh,
that's
right,
coming
okay.
from the back of ours.
But Jill's in for a nasty surprise in the form of the Celtic cavalry. Boudicca's forces have now trapped the Romans in the centre, but instead of concentrating on this critical battle, Paul's attention wanders to some strangers on the Roman left flank.
There's people with pointy things.
Can we send
Is that
the
my cavalry? And they can't get through.
They're more
What?
affairs, just
Sorry.
come
I
through.
can't remember your name.
Pointy thing?
Pointy things. Oh no, they're not. Sorry, they're berserkers. Is that right?
Right, I want them to keep moving if they can.
Berserkers.
I want them to carry on just
Tell me how it's
charging.
going.
It's terrible. No, it's okay on one side. It's the right-hand side we're having a problem with.
Jill's getting it wrong.
No, not necessarily. No, no.
Well, I'm getting funny orders. It'll just
The cavalry need to fill that gap.
Jill needs orders.
Well, the last orders were about actually bring the cavalry back to actually trace those ones that were coming up the hill.
Go up again.
Yeah, so they are. They're going now.
Right,
They're
can we-
sandwiched.
Can we
They're
bring,
being attacked now.
bring the cavalry back then and regroup?
Gary's order is not only unlikely, it's impossible.
The Roman cavalry have allowed themselves to be split up, and they're getting bogged down engaging
In infantry
the
warfare.
Britons. That's right.
Get the cavalry into that group there.
Yeah.
Can you see the light
Right,
group here?
right in the middle.
So left-hand
That
side
light
is
group
fine.
Right in the middle. Yeah,
there's
that
light
group right in the
blue
middle.
group here.
Yeah, bring the cavalry
Send
into
them in and
that.
Yeah.
get,
Look at all
break
these
them up.
troops you're losing. What are you going
Let's
to do
do
about
something
it?
about it now.
We're doing the best
You
we
need
can.
to tell us we actually are doing it.
Right.
We're getting completely surrounded. Can we not retreat?
The general's under
Regroup?
attack. We need to retreat.
Is that not a...
We can retreat.
Joe wants to extract, withdraw, reform, and fight her original battle. But the withdrawal is possibly the most difficult operation in war. Certainly the withdrawal in contact with the enemy, because they would have to march backwards. They would not see where they're going. They could be obstructed. As you see, a lot of the team's Roman soldiers are surrounded by the enemy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you going to do?
We need to regroup.
Can we retreat, though?
Not easily,
Because
because
we've
we're,
got them on both sides.
we're fairly surrounded.
Can we not send the cavalry in to make like a path and then ours can pull back out of it?
The only hope they have got would be to use their cavalry to try and effectively make a screen
That's right. Screen them.
To screen.
their withdrawal, so that they
so
could
that
do
they can reform.
We're
It's just a
coming,
complete
we're coming through here.
disaster.
But it's not over
all
yet.
that's a surrounding, where most of ours are
Here,
actually
the
almost
fat lady
sort of
sings and she's galloping down this hill.
Now Paul comes up with a cunning plan.
Can you just say if the troops lose the general, they'll just run? So we need to find Boudicca, right? Kill her.
I need to get rid of Boudicca.
That's a better idea, isn't
Take
it?
the head.
Okay.
Put it
We
on a
need to
pointy
find
thing.
her. Find her on your big
Can you have a
screen
good
thing.
Right, we
just have a
found her. We
general
know
She'll be
where
at the
she
back.
is.
Where
Have
is
you
she?
found her?
Yeah, we know where she is.
Where is she?
She's behind our lines, which is not good. But we need to get rid of her.
Whereabouts?
Take her out.
We can get the cavalry to charge them.
Yeah. Let's. As an initial
And get
step.
them, and get,
I want
her,
the
get
cavalry
them off the
turn back
chariots, get
here.
them off there, and then
bring
get
this
them a good
foot-
scene.
In a desperate move, the generals have now targeted Boudicca. But are they placing too much faith in this daring adventure?
Stuff going on.
How are
But
you're going to take those out? That's your plan.
Yes.
Killing Boudicca doesn't do the Romans any good. The entire team is now focused on an insignificant action against 3 women in chariots. Boudicca's daughters, and it won't matter a damn.
No.
Can we send just some of the cavalry then, Jill, up to those 3 chariots to try and
That's
take
what
them out?
I'm doing. I'm instructing that now.
Okay.
The Romans believe they can save the occupation of Britain by killing the Queen of the Iceni. They're placing all their eggs in one basket. With the last of their cavalry, the team fight it out against Boudicca and her rampaging chariots. The warrior queen retains the initiative.
It's the heat of battle. I'm not hearing any instruction. I'm hearing commentary.
Just bring the rest of our
Can we have a look
cavalry
back at what
down.
was happening with the groups that were being surrounded?
Is that good?
Peasants are charging the general at the moment.
Peasants
Right,
are
can you
revolting.
bring the cavalry around to help the generals then?
Right, where's the cavalry? Is that the cavalry there?
British peasants have closed down the remaining Romans, and the paralyzed team have lost control over most of their forces. Over on the left flank, outnumbered Romans struggle to hold back the tide of Iceni warriors. Soon, it's every man for himself.
They're running away.
Do you not think we should retreat and regroup? regroup? Because if we retreat and regroup now,
At the moment, we're charging dead horses.
There she is, isn't she?
if we go up onto the hill.
The Romans are being massacred. Look at the way the whole team is looking at the big screen that is focused on one corner of the battlefield. Nobody down there has the big picture.
They're seconds away from defeat. Well, it's not defeat, it's complete annihilation.
And complete annihilation. Those Romans are going to be impaled on stakes.
Yeah.
With their generals in confusion and their comrades in retreat, surviving Roman troops tried desperately to save their own lives and the Roman occupation.
Pull back and regroup if we can.
Yeah.
She's not dead, we haven't killed her
We
yet.
can't pull back because they just follow.
Well, pull back to get together one larger group. To give us a base. To give us a base.
Archers? Are our archers all gone now?
Archers along.
Jill?
Gabby, have you spotted this?
Are the
Yeah, I
archers
can
all
see.
gone?
I can see.
Jill, are the archers all
We've still
gone?
got archers.
Right,
Where are? Can you pull back?
It's all over.
You are defeated.
Well, let's quickly talk about what went right. And now let's talk about what went wrong. Paul.
I don't think we actually kept to what we're supposed to be doing. We didn't make enough lines, and we didn't root out. We thought we'd killed Boudicca, we hadn't, which was a big mistake. 'Cause if we'd killed her, the enemy would have started fleeing and been, you know, disorientated.
Jill, you were right down there at the front.
It was getting very confusing because it's all very well saying send the cavalry into the right, but when you're actually there, sending the cavalry into the right means nothing.
You needed clear instruction.
Needed clear instructions, and maybe we should have had the intention to kill Boudicca at the beginning.
Joe, how did it look to you?
I don't think we ever initially made that first plan that we had. I think they all started coming at us, and we kind of had a pocket here and a pocket way back.
We did. We did it. We did. We lined it up right.
I think that the first problem, we said, oh right, that their chariots weren't a problem, and the first thing that was a problem was their chariots. They sent them straight in.
But shouldn't you have reacted to that?
By the time we actually got any on the movement, they were already there.
Unlike the Roman generals, you had a complete view of the battlefield.
And we
a
got
bird's
it
eye
really
view, which
wrong.
could swoop to any part of the battlefield.
Yeah.
And that was inadequate.
I think it was. I think because there was just, in a sense, there was so much information.
Was it too helpful?
We were seeing one thing that we couldn't convey properly to our lieutenants. They were doing something that we couldn't properly see because they were concentrating on the detail of the smaller screen. And I think between those two, you actually just started losing it. Once we started losing it, it was really, really hard to try and pull anything back.
Basically what happened was what we predicted was that there were so many of them. We said all along, didn't we, that the chances are they're just going to surround us in clumps.
You couldn't have won then because of the numbers.
Happened.
We could have
we couldn't. I think with hindsight, but that's a very
what about a bit of
valuable
foresight?
thing.
We needed that.
All right, let's find out what our experts thought of how you fought the battle. Eric and Mike have been watching it all. Come down.
Disaster.
Ready for a grilling.
Mike and Eric, you've watched all of this.
You spotted that you lost then.
How did they do?
Well,
some
they did really
disagreement.
badly, didn't they? I mean, it's the usual thing, nice people shouldn't fight wars, and you were just trying to sort of...
Be nice.
Be nice to each other, and you just didn't get that command structure sorted out, you know. And it's, you know, you've got generals, right or wrong, you've got to do what the generals say, and you've got to get that chain and command, and you've got to put that autonomy with the lieutenants on either screen. So you fight the fires, you control the overall tactics.
Do you know who lost the battle? And do you know when it happened? Joe lost the battle, and it was when she compromised. At the very beginning, Joe looked at this battlefield, she looked at the layout, and she instantly grasped that the Romans had to remain concentrated at the top of that funnel, at the neck of the funnel, in order to win the battle. Joe saw that, she said it to everybody else, and then, even before the first sword was drawn, Joe compromised, she gave in to what Gary and Paul had to say, and she allowed the force to be dispersed. She allowed them to move down away from that neck and out onto that broad slope where the Britons could surround them. So Joe is almost a military genius, but Joe didn't stick to it. Then at the end, you guys got fixated on killing Boudicca. Boudicca is not a general who is standing there at her radio transmitter telling everybody what to do. Boudicca is in command of a large, loose collection of tribes. She's got a lot of guys with a lot of gusto, a lot of guts, a lot of testosterone, and farm implements. And they're going to go out there and they're going to be cutting you to pieces whether or not Boudicca is paying attention. You focused on one chariot with a woman and 2 teenage girls in it. All 4 of you, the whole team is staring at that one tiny corner of the battlefield while everything else goes to hell in a handbasket around them.
I think they just wanted to kill something.
They did want to kill something, that's right. And they did.
The question is, and we've been talking about this, was the battle winnable from the Romans' point of view? Gentlemen, can you show us what really happened in history?
Absolutely.
Look at that.
So clearly we have got a lot of people. The British have got an awful lot of people. This is 2 complete tribes, the Trinovantes and the Iceni. Massive people with all their baggage and their families all in support. They're a tremendous equestrian culture. They have fabulous cavalry and they have chariots. And the cavalry and the chariots would work together very often. And one of the first things they do, we want to provoke you guys. We want to bring you off the hill. So they're going to send their cavalry and the chariots in. What you've got on there is you've got javelin men, both on the horses and the chariots, and we're throwing javelins at you. So we're trying to provoke you. We're throwing stuff in there and teasing you. And it worked for you, didn't it? It brought some of you forward. But did it move you?
I don't care.
You don't care.
You can chuck toothpicks at me all day, and I'm not moving from this commanding position, just as Joe appreciated, this commanding position and that concentration.
What I'm going to do then is I'm going to send my bravest men in, my best warriors, and we're going to come in with our spiky hair and our blue-painted woad faces and shout at you, and we're going to throw more stuff at you and try and make you come out. Are you going to come out?
I'm not even going to touch my croupier rake.
No. You're not moving, we can't wait any longer, so we all come on. We're going to start using our numbers to come on. And still you're not coming.
I'm not going to allow myself to be tempted until I see the moment when I can make my concentration tell against the Britons, when I can move with those wings of light forces and cavalry supporting my infantry. And when I see that opportunity, I'm going to take all of my javelins, I'm going to throw them all at once. I'm going to go out on the field and I'm going to hit them hard. And I'm going to hit them and keep pushing them back down the field, concentrated, and I'm heading for, see that board over there? That's the wife and kids back there. That is the logger of wagons at the other end of the field. That is a whole bunch of people who you might have thought had nothing to do with this battle, but who the Britons value highly. That's their logistics, that's their priesthood, that is their maintenance. It's all back there, and they're pushed up against that, and they are massacred. And the Romans win in real life.
Boudicca escapes.
And
maybe commits suicide by poisoning, nobody really knows, and allegedly is buried under platform 10, King's Cross Station.
If Boudicca had won the Battle of Watling Street, her victory might have meant the end of the Roman occupation of Britain. History would have been totally reversed.
Thanks very much for taking part in the programme. Did you enjoy it even though you were humiliated?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. We're used to humiliation.
All right. Well, look, thanks for taking part. No one leaves this programme empty-handed. Actually, they do. Thanks for playing. Great. Well done.
Time Commanders next week. Now, don't go anywhere. BBC 2's the place to be tonight. The battle to build Brooklyn Bridge is coming up next.
Looking